Hey, what's happening everybody? It's RRPG here, and instead of doing another impressions video, it's time for me to give you my wrap-up of E3 2011. And yes, sadly, E3 2011 is getting done today, so I might as well end off things by saying what were my big highlights and what were some of my big disappointments. You know, some of the things that didn't even show up, or some of the things that really did not impress me a whole lot, and some things that really caught my attention. So let's start with the things that I was really impressed by the most. I was really impressed with Super Mario 3D, Mario Kart 3D, and Kid Icarus Uprising, Luigi's Mansion 2, and all the first-party Nintendo 3DS titles that are coming out. I think Nintendo pretty much impressed me the most this year with their lineup, and Ninja Gaiden 3, definitely for sure, was another game that I'm definitely going to be looking forward to next year. Whether if it's going to be on the Wii U, the PS3, or the 360, I'm really not sure. Now on the Sony side, the PS Vita, I was skeptical at first, but it looks like that Sony may be able to pull it off to having true competition with the Nintendo 3DS, but for the 3G Wi-Fi model, aside from the Wi-Fi model, I don't think that version is going to sell well. I think more people are going to be more in line to get the Wi-Fi model instead, but something tells me that Sony is going to have some sort of trick up their sleeve. But it's too early to reserve judgment. Now, my biggest disappointment, well, of course, with Microsoft's press conference. I mean, sure, they did show some things, you know, that may be really good for the Kinect, but they showed off a lot more of the same casual shovelware that we've seen last year. So that kind of turned me off a lot, and I was not really too impressed with what they had to show overall. Now, some of the games that did not make it to E3 that I wish made it to E3, and that would be the games like Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, which I was not really happy about for them, you know, Square-Enix making that game skip this year's E3, and I was also not happy with the fact that Final Fantasy Versus 13 didn't even make an appearance as well, when instead we got Final Fantasy 13-2, which seems like it may be more exciting than Final Fantasy 13, but I'll wait to reserve my judgment. And probably the other thing that I was not really too impressed by was the fact that what other game did I want to see more information about? Oh, right, Tales of the Abyss 3D on the 3DS and Tales of Graces F. I mean, that game, you know, Tales of Graces F is coming out next year, with Tales of the Abyss 3D coming out later this fall. So there was no excuse not to have those games, you know, not show up at E3 when this is supposed to be a big time of the year for video games. You know, people can learn about the new games and what all new features are going to, you know, be shown on those games and when they're going to be released. So that way they get the full experience before they actually buy the game. So why those games did not even show up at E3, I have no idea. But overall, E3 2011, I was definitely really impressed. I mean, a lot of great games coming out, even though there are some crap that's coming out too. But overall, the good definitely outweighs the bad. So E3 2011, I definitely give it 2 big thumbs up. So anyway, those are my thoughts on E3 2011 as a whole. So I definitely will be back next year to do another round of impressions videos and thoughts on the press conferences and all that. So anyway, be sure you tune in this Monday as I will get started with my LPs for Tales of Symphonia and Tales of Fantasia. So anyway, take care of yourselves, gamers, and I'll catch you next time. Later, gamers!